and welcome. Tonight, President Bola Tinubu seeks actualization of a two-state solution to address the Israeli-Palestinian crisis. Amidst growing concerns for the nation to ditch the presidential system of government, House of Representatives holds national dialogue on the need to embrace the parliamentary system of government. And Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun asks investigating officers across the nation to remain professional.
In on business news, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria secures deal to lift petroleum products directly from Dangote Refinery.
On sports, Ruud van Nistelrooy has left Manchester United after not being given a role in new manager Ruben Amorim's backroom staff.
From Abuja, the nation's capital, federal government asks security agencies to explore new ways of combating insecurity and other emerging security threats bedeviling the nation.
And in international news from London, the race to be the new Senate leader is underway in the United States after Donald Trump's election win.
We begin from Saudi Arabia, where President Bola Tinubu has joined the call for the actualization of a two-state solution for the Israel-Palestine crisis. The president, who was speaking at the extraordinary Arab-Islamic summit in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, expressed deep concern on the humanitarian conditions in Gaza, warning that the conflict has persisted far too long, inflicting immeasurable suffering on the people. Reiterating Nigeria's call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, President Tinubu affirmed the country's support for a two-state solution where both Israeli and Palestinians can coexist in security and dignity.
No security concern should come at the expense of many innocent lives. In a rule-based international order, states have the right of self-defense. But self-defense must take opportunity, proportionality into account in line with global legal, diplomatic, and moral framework. An entire civilian population in their dreams and futures cannot be dismissed as collateral. We need to find a new pathway to peace without delay. Nigeria has always championed the cause of peace and cooperation among nations. Our own experiences, domestically and regionally, have taught us that identity politics are no substitute for respecting the nuances of diversity. I call upon all of us to come together in solidarity, to stand firm in our resolve, and to work towards peaceful coexistence, free from fear and violence. Together we can turn the vision of a two-state solution into reality. I say until then, we cannot relent.
And back home, the search for the most suitable form of government continues with the convening of the National Dialogue on Parliamentary System of Government. At the forum, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, says that any system that will make the people fear those in power instead of the other way around will never work for Nigeria. His position was shared by a number of stakeholders at the event who believe that the presidential system of government has not worked out for the country. Our correspondent Terry Kumi reports.
While the National Assembly continues the process of constitution amendment amid calls for a constitution change, some federal lawmakers are pushing for a change in Nigeria's system of government. The Parliamentary System Support Group of the National Assembly has convened a national dialogue for a homegrown parliamentary system.
Each election year, we invest our hopes and dreams into a system expected to uplift our people, only to find ourselves repeating the same wish instead of a government that works for the people, we end up seeing the one that serves the public officials and also a government that grows fat on bloated overheads.
The event is chaired by the leader of the Arewa Consultative Forum, with a keynote address from former lawmaker Dr. Usman Bugaji.
Every country in the world today claims democracy. America claims democracy. China claims democracy. Most countries claim democracy. So democracy must have multiple meanings, flexible meanings, and so on. So it's right for us here to ask what kind of democracy do you want to have? And it's also right to insist that we can have a homegrown democracy.
I like the idea of the homegrown effort. This is a very key word, because if you borrow a system that has been nurtured in entirely a different history, social, cultural environment, it will not work for you.
The event breaks into panel sessions, as submissions from the panelists suggest that the presidential system of government has not worked for Nigeria.
I am opposed to executive system of government. I believe a collective arrangement which parliamentary system guarantees is best.
Any system that we will build that will not make the people in power fear the people, but the people instead will be afraid of those in power, it's an imperial democracy. It will never work. It will never produce any result.
The current constitution we have will not help us. Amendment in bits might not also be the solution. There is need for a holistic change, and that change is to look at our condition, our circumstance, and commence with a homegrown system of government.
However, religious leaders present believe in an improvement on the presidential system which Nigeria currently operates.
They said today that the best form of government is democracy, and we have opted for that. So if we have opted for that, we must do it well. And that is where me and our sheikh there comes in. I ask myself, because every now and again religion keeps coming up in the discussion, what has been the role of religious leaders in this whole picture? Or to put it differently, if our system is running badly, what is the position of religious communities and leaders in this mess in which we are?
We know that we failed an election, and we are not ready to accept the outcome of the election, and we'll go by hook or by crook and buy that chair and stay for 4 years. We are swimming in the pool of hellfire. If we are not able to check ourselves to do that, how can we change our system?
This forum is looking to expand the conversation across the country for inputs that will make the proposed parliamentary system of government more inclusive for every Nigerian. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the United Nations women have identified factors such as life-threatening situations and forced withdrawal from Nigeria's last general elections from both the national and state level as some of the reasons for the low participation of women in politics in the country. The program manager for UN Women, Mr. Peter Mancha, stated this at a dialogue on women, peace and security in Abuja. He laments the lack of enabling environment for women in politics in the country.
We all know that Nigeria has one of the worst statistics when it comes to women political participation. After the last general election, we currently have about 4% of women in elective position, which is very, very low compared to countries like Rwanda that has over 60% of women. If you go to South Africa, if you go to Kenya, meanwhile we are the giant of Africa, but then we have women that constitute about 50% of our population, but have not been given the space to occupy strategic position. And we all know, apart from political positions, women are doing very well in other areas. If you look at businesses, women are doing well. So we don't lack women with capacity to occupy strategic position, but the enabling environment is not there for them. So we actually have women that have what it takes. But if you look at women that aspire to be in political positions, After the last general election, UN Women converged all the female that contested for different positions at national, state levels. We discovered that there were a lot of factors that made them not to continue with the race. Some of them were forced to step down. Some of them, their families' life were threatened. Some of them, even their spouses threatened to, end the marriage if they continue. So these are some of the factors that limit women to actually occupy those positions.
Over in Ondo State, and with the governorship election just a few days away, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has paid a courtesy visit on the governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa. Chief Obasanjo and the governor met at the presidential lodge of the Ondo State Government House in Akure, the state capital, where he offered words of encouragement to the governor. Speaking on his own campaign experiences in 1999, the former president says he understands the challenges of this period, having covered the entire 6 states of the Southwest in one day. In his response, Governor Aiyedatiwa appreciated Chief Obasanjo for the visit, noting that the achievements of the elder statesman as president remain indelible. Still on the election in Ondo State, electorate in the state have not been asked not to sell their votes, rather cast it for the Labour Party in the governorship election. The presidential candidate of the party in the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Peter Obi, stated this while addressing party loyalists at the campaign rally in Akure, the state capital. According to him, big parties have failed the country and Nigerians need to look out for other parties that will perform well in government.
And we are pleading with you, one by one. Vote off. I know they will share you money, but it's your money they've stolen they are going to give to you. Stop them from stealing our money. Stop the misgovernance. Let's start building a new Nigeria. A Nigeria where poor people will stop suffering. A Nigeria where there will be opportunity for everybody. A Nigeria where the style of nobody will be somebody. A Nigeria where there will be unity, where there will be peace, where we will live as a family. The Hausas, the Yorubas, the Igbos, everybody will live as a family. Yes.
Meanwhile, the Labour Party governorship candidates, Mr. Olushola Ebiseri, also told the faithful while the Labour Party remains the party to beat.
Labour Party is the most popular political party in Ondo State. This is a party that the people of Ondo State voted for twice and was in power in this state between 2009 and 2017. Our programs and policies and even projects are everywhere, and you know it. Anywhere you go to in Ondo State, all the projects you see, they are in the color of the dress I am wearing. I'm deliberately wearing the orange color, which is the color of Labour Party, and the color you will see in every project. Our president is here to give support and to let Nigerians know that Labour Party is the party to vote for.
In part two, after the break, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, asks investigating officers across the nation to remain professional. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Channels Television. A reminder of our main stories. President Bola Tinubu seeks the actualization of a two-state solution to address the Israeli-Palestinian crisis amidst growing calls for the nation to ditch the presidential system of government. House of Representatives holds national dialogue on the need to embrace the parliamentary system of government. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun asks investigating officers across the country to remain professional, and the race to be the new Senate leader is underway in the United States after Donald Trump's election win. We continue with politics. Preparations are already in top gear for the inauguration of Senator Monday Okpebolo as the governor of Edo State on Tuesday, November the 12th at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Speaking to Channels Television ahead of that event, the Police Public Relations Officer of Edo State Command, Moses Yamu, says the police is working with other relevant agencies to ensure a hitch-free ceremony. The chairman of the All Progressives Congress, the APC in Edo State, Jared Tenebe, confirmed that the party is ready to take over office. His Labour Party counterpart, Kelly Ogbalo, asked the APC to be fair in their governance of Edo State.
An invitation to the swearing-in ceremony of Senator Monday Okpebolo as governor of Edo State is clearly visible for everyone to see on the streets of Benin City, the Edo State capital. The All Progressives Congress APC say they are ready for the big day in spite of hitches in the handover documents received from the outgoing administration.
Although there were a lot of bottlenecks from the government side, this outgoing government side, but of course, at least we have a document that we will work with. The areas where they pointed out have been pointed out to me. And if you see, I came in a little bit late to this program. It's as a result of going around to ensure that everything is in place for tomorrow. So preparation are in top gear, and by tomorrow we will experience a very good handing over and taking over.
The planning of the event did not go down well with the PDP as Governor Godwin Obaseki had accused the APC of not carrying everyone along. The Labour Party in the state has a similar complaint, but insists that it is not a problem as long as the APC governs Edo State fairly.
We just hope that the APC government will begin to appreciate the fact that everybody in Edo State now will serve under them and be fair to every citizen of Edo State. But I can tell you that very clearly, at the moment, my party has not been invited to the inauguration. Perhaps it's not in their rule to do that.
For those that will be in attendance, security is assured by the police.
The Commissioner of Police, CP Umoru Peter Ozigi, PSC MNIPS, has also issued a directive to all the divisional police officers, tactical commanders, to ensure that they deploy their men for stop and search and also visibility policing to patrol to ensure that they're aware of any miscreants that might want to foment or cause any trouble on that day or disrupt any events. I can assure you that we're on top of the game and we'll ensure that it is a seamless one.
From all indications, all roads lead to the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium as Senator Monday Okpebolo prepares to be sworn in as the 6th civilian governor of Edo State.
Away from politics, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, is asking heads of investigative units across Nigeria to be professional, as a police force will not hesitate to discipline any erring officer, including those who sabotage investigation efforts by the police. The Inspector General of Police gave this charge in Abuja as he flagged off a training workshop for heads of investigative units in the police force. The police chief also asked the officers who are handling cases involving children and minors to be especially professional and comply with international best practices.
We have found out that some of our officers are not grounded in the art of investigation. And that's why we are coming up with these measures to give them extra training and make them professional in their duties. Adherence to global standards, particularly the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, is a testament to our unwavering commitment to safeguarding the rights and well-being of children. Child-friendly policing is essential to modern law enforcement practices. Every interaction with our child, whether as a victim, witness, or even an offender, must be carried out with sensitivity and professionalism. Any officer who is found wanting, compromising the integrity of our investigation department, or tarnishing the image of our organization, will always be sanctioned.
We have more for you on security matters, but we head over to Abuja studios now, where Gloria Umezoke is standing by to give us more. Hello, Gloria.
Thank you, Anne. Here in Abuja, the federal government is asking security agencies to think of new ways of combating insurgents and other emerging security threats, bedeviling the nation. Addressing participants at the 2024 annual conference organized by the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Minister of Defense, Mr. Mohammed Abubakar, says the military and other security agencies are doing well. However, he highlights the need to explore the role of technology in tackling the nation's security challenges.
It's a gathering of top security experts, defense advisors, and attachés as the Defense Intelligence Agency holds its 2024 annual conference in Abuja. The Chief of Defense Intelligence is hosting the conference, and he highlights the need for sustained efforts in the fight against insecurity.
No doubt, much still has to be done, as the current and emerging threats are complex and multifaceted. This is coupled with those emanating from the Sahel region, as well as the resurgence of coups in some countries within the sub-region, as well as the challenges of climate change across the West African sub-region and indeed Africa in general.
On his part, the Minister of State for Defense highlights some of the nation's security challenges requiring immediate attention.
The current national security landscape has become increasingly complex. We have experienced a series of events that have jolted our sense of stability and challenges the very essence of our national and nationhood. In the midst of all this, intelligence remains vital. It is provided of civilian and military leadership with the situations, awareness needed to make critical decisions that will protect our citizens and advance our national interests.
The Minister of Defense represented the President of the Senate at the event, and he stressed the need for a new approach to the fight against insurgency.
While we have made significant strides, I must also acknowledge that the journey is far from complete. However, we should take pride in the progress we have made and continue to seek out new, innovative approaches to ensure that we ultimately prevail against those who seek to destabilize our nation.
As Nigeria continues to confront insurgents and other emerging threats, exploring the role of technology in strengthening national and regional security has become paramount.
A new pay TV, Loft Pay TV, has been launched in Abuja. The chairman of the company, Mr. Bright Echefu, says his aim of establishing a new satellite station is to bring revolution and diversity to pay TV in Nigeria. Mr. Echefu adds that the new pay TV will bring families and friends together as there is something for every subscriber.
Top government officials, including the governors of Nasarawa and Plateau states, are here for the official launch of a new satellite television service, Loft Pay TV, by businessman Mr. Bright Echefu. According to the chairman, the new Pay TV is born out of the need to create more options for subscribers.
I'm truly thrilled to introduce Loft Pay TV, a service designed with you in mind. Whether you are a fan of a thrilling Nollywood blockbuster, live sport actions, international news, reality shows, or our kiddies channels, we have something for everyone. Pay TV is built on cutting-edge technology, delivering crystal clear HD quality, flexibility to watch on multiple devices, and a subscription plan that is currently the most affordable compared to other existing pay TVs.
The governors of Plateau and Nasarawa states take turns to applaud the initiative.
My understanding of pay TV is a situation where you pay only what you want. So in a day, I can select that I watch TV only between a certain time to a certain time. And so I have my pay TV for that. because that's the way I understood it from where I used to pay for pay TV.
I believe in promoting local initiative, and I think that this is what Luft TV is bringing on board. I find that for industries like the entertainment industry, variety is important. Therefore, monopolies should be discouraged to the glory of God and for the benefit of all Nigerians.
Thereafter, the governors launched the new pay TV and news side attractions. The newly launched pay TV has channels of interest for both the young, the old, football lovers and more. The content cut across the continent.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria secures deal to lift petroleum products directly from Dangote Refinery. That's some business news. Do join us again. Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. The Intercontinental Distillers Limited has held its Distributors Award ceremony in Lagos to honor its top wholesalers over the past fiscal year. The event also featured the relaunch and rebranding of the Commodore Aromatic Schnapps, one of the company's top products.
The Lagos Continental Hotel plays host to the 2024 edition of the Intercontinental Distillers Limited Distributors Award. Management, staff, dignitaries, distributors, customers, and employees of the company gather to celebrate the gains of the past year.
Yes.
The managing director of the company, Chief Patrick Anigwe, says the event is an opportunity to honor distributors who've played a significant role in boosting the profits of the IDL.
We gather to celebrate and honor the exceptional contributions of our distributors and partners who have played a pivotal role in the success of our company throughout the past year. We are pleased to present you with various prizes and gift items today as a token of recognition of your exceptional efforts in 2023 business year.
The head of sales, Are Hope Baggy, salutes the distributors' efforts and urges them not to rest on their laurels.
We thank you for the very cordial relationship we've been having with you over the years. We plead with you to redouble your efforts in the area of product redistribution as a deliberate way of expanding and growing your business.
The highlight of the event is the relaunch of one of the company's flagship products, Commodore Aromatic Schnapps.
As we present the repackaged Commodore Aromatic Schnapps.
In his speech, the head of marketing, Obalaji Alalade, reminds the stakeholders about what makes the product unique.
As we reintroduce Commodore Schnapps, we are reminded of the mastery and dedication that made it so beloved. For us at IDL, this occasion is a revival of everything that made Commodore Schnapps unique. Its quality ingredients, time-tested recipes, and its stakeable smoothness, which makes it the spirit of answered prayers.
The time for award presentation finally arrives, and the IDL rewards its top distributors of the past year with gifts and cash prizes. The Intercontinental Distillers Limited will be hoping the distributors see this awards ceremony as an incentive to double their efforts in taking the company to greater heights.
Well, First Ally Capital Limited has celebrated 10 years of operation with a colorful ceremony in Lagos. The The event was graced by financial experts and a depiction of a journey of the financial house so far. Management of the firm says they are committed to transparency, integrity, depth of knowledge, and expertise to sustain the delivery of quality services to its esteemed clients.
The event began with a cocktail laced with beautiful piano rendition. After that, management, staff and guests converged to celebrate 10 years of a progressive journey for First Ally Capital Group. Services rendered by the financial house range from corporate and project finance advisory, underwriting, mergers and acquisition advisory, and an issuing house. In his keynote address, Chairman, First Ally Capital Group, Mr. Olufemi Akinsoya, says the financial house is well positioned to face challenges of the future.
The theme of our 10th anniversary, Your Trusted Ally, a decade of innovation and value creation, reflects our dedication to excellence and the trusted relationships we have built over the years. As we commemorate this milestone, we take the opportunity to reflect on our journey and celebrate with our stakeholders.
The company attributes its success to the quality of minds brought on board from the very beginning.
We took pains to select the kind of people we wanted to work with, the kind of shareholders, the kind of directors. We didn't want just any type of money to come into the system, but people of like minds, people who made their money right and everything. And today, when we look back, we thank God for the great things that God has done in this business, First Ally Capital as a group.
Group Managing Director, CEO and co-founder, First Ally Capital Limited, Ebenezer Olufowoshe, thanked all partners of the company for their support.
It's been 10 years, but every time I look back, it's just like yesterday. But we thank all our customers, those that have given testimony today, those that will give tomorrow, and we pray that we will never disappoint you.
Ladies and gentlemen, 1-0. Put your hands together for First Ally.
As First Ally Capital Group celebrates 10 years of remarkable achievement, the management says it is energized for the possibilities anchored on strong foundation, innovation, and value creation. Looking forward to the next decade of growth, success, and impact in the Nigerian financial sector and beyond.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to you, Anne, for more on the news at 10.
Thank you, Gloria. President Bola Tinubu has reiterated his administration's commitment to fostering dialogue, reconciliation and healing among all ethnic nationalities that make up our great nation. In a special message commemorating the 2024 Ogoni Mataz Remembrance Day, President Tinubu says that he stands in solidarity with the National Youth Council of Ogoni people and all Ogoni citizens to honor those who make the ultimate sacrifice in defense of the Ogoni nation's interest. In his words, we honor their memory by recognizing the sacrifices made and pledging to strive for the future characterized by peace, justice, and sustainable development for all communities, particularly those in the Niger Delta. Oil was explored in Ogoni land for many years. The struggles of Ogoni leaders to protect the environment from harmful oil exploration were met with severe repression, culminating in the tragic execution of Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 other leaders in 1995. We head over to the world of business, where Willie Bong is standing by.
Thank you, Anne. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has signed an agreement with Dangote Refinery to lift petroleum products directly. The IPMAN president, Mr. Abubakar Garima, who made this known, says the partnership aims to ensure a steady supply of PMS, diesel and kerosene across the country. Mr. Garima states that by removing middlemen, the agreement is expected to lower prices of fuel for consumers and urges IPMAN members to support the partnership citing the positive impacts on Nigeria's economy and foreign exchange. 18 months after the commencement of commercial operations at the Lekki Deep Sea Port, a new alliance made up of COSCO, ONE and ZIM shipping lines have been launched at the port. This was signaled by the arrival of EA Centaurus, one of the largest COSCO vessels to call Nigeria. This, according to stakeholders, is a major boost to the international trade in the country.
Arrival of EA Centaurus, a 277-meter-long container vessel with a handling capacity of 7,000 TEUs at the Lekki Deep Sea Port, signals a major advancement in the Nigerian maritime sector and international trade. This is facilitated by the launch of COSCO, ONE and ZIM aligned services at the Deep Sea Port, and stakeholders have come to witness this milestone event.
This event marks a crucial milestone in the terminal development and the capacity expansion of our terminal. The arrival of this service demonstrates once again our commitment to becoming a leading maritime hub in West Africa.
Today, what we celebrate is not only the upgrade of the COSCO Vac 3 service, but also another important milestone in the cooperation between China and Nigeria in the field of maritime transport.
This is a result of a concerted effort by the management of Lekki Port, Lekki Freeport Terminal, as well as the Lagos Free Zone.
So this achievement is not the end, but rather the beginning of a new era for Lekki Deep Sea Port. As we continue to expand our operations, we remain fully committed to developing the necessary infrastructure and capacity to meet the evolving demands of international trade.
The launch of this alliance is of a very important economic significance.
It's significant because it gives customers more options and allows more customers to have access to the state-of-the-art facilities that we have in Lekki Port. So it's a really, really momentous occasion for us. And it also allows growth of the enterprises in the Lagos Free Zone and, in fact, in the entire Lekki economic axis. Because that means that you can bring in your raw materials through this port, get them in your factory, and then the finished products you can export to other parts of Africa and, in fact, the world. So this is the economic rejuvenation that we are looking for, and Lekki Port and Lagos Free Zone are here to do our own bits to ensure that the country gets better.
It's been 18 months since the commencement of commercial operations at the Lekki Port. Now that COSCO, ONE and ZIM shipping lines are on board, the opportunities here are becoming endless.
Let's turn our attention now to the domestic stock market, which opened the first trading day of the week in green territory as investors showed buy interest in large caps like Aradel. Laddie Williams has the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report, where the second full week of November kicks off in the green with the all-share index at about 0.14%, staying at the 97,000 level, 374 points higher, 59 trillion for the market cap. Let's look at the sectoral performance now. We see the oil and gas counter, still shine today as a lone gainer in the sectors we track, up 0.16%. Consumer goods, that's down 0.10%. We see financial services, banking starting the week down 0.81%. And the market mover today, Aradel Holdings PLC, the market mover to the upside after listing at about 700 naira, hitting a low of about 400 naira. We have a close of 533 naira today. Question is the dip being bought up at this time? Well, I guess time will tell. Data expectations for this week, inflation numbers for October, which is expected to trend higher. We'll be getting that information later this week. But today, the bull starts.
And that's it on Business News. It's back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Will. Outsider shows U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has been making more key appointments ahead of his return to the White House next January. Here's Simon Puse with other international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The race to be the new Senate leader is underway in the United States after Donald Trump's election win. Florida Senator Rick Scott, who was comfortably re-elected to another 6-year term, is favourite with many, from grassroots supporters to some of the president-elect's closest allies now publicly endorsing him. Meanwhile, Tom Homan, a 62-year-old former police officer and long-serving immigration official, has been appointed as Donald Trump's border czar. The president-elect confirmed he would have a wide-ranging role overseeing border security and deportation policy, 2 areas which were central to Mr. Trump's presidential campaign. Rescuers and officials say Israeli strikes on northern Lebanon and Gaza have killed dozens of people, including several children. The Lebanese Health Ministry said at least 23 people, including 7 children, were killed on Sunday in Almat, near Byblos, to the north of the capital Beirut. In northern Gaza, the Civil Defense Agency said at least 30 people were killed in Israeli strikes on 2 houses in the besieged enclave. The first strike hit a house in Jabalia, killing at least 25 people, including 13 children, and injuring more than 30, according to the agency. Another 5 people were killed in the Sabra neighborhood of Gaza City, and some are still missing in the aftermath. Russia and Ukraine have carried out their largest drone attacks against each other since the start of the war. Russia's defense ministry said it intercepted 84 Ukrainian drones over 6 regions, including some approaching Moscow, which forced flights to be diverted from 3 of the capital's major airports. Ukraine's Air Force said Russia launched 145 drones towards every part of the country, with most shot down. The barrages come amid expectations that US President-elect Donald Trump may put pressure on both sides to end the war. Ukraine's attempted strike on Moscow was also its biggest attack on the capital since the war began. The president of COP29 is calling on the private sector to stump up cash for the developing world to invest in a low-carbon economy on the first day of the climate summit in Baku. Outgoing COP28 President Sultan Al-Jaber opened the summit before handing over the presidency to Azerbaijan's Mukhtar Babayev, who told delegates this summit will be a moment of truth for the Paris Agreement. The opening ceremony of the International Climate Conference comes amid accusations that the state oil company of Azerbaijan had signed 25 deals with foreign firms in the year it is hosting the talks. Finance is top of the agenda at COP29, with the world's developing nations needing about $1 billion a day just to cope with the extreme weather impacts of today. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has won a runoff vote in Parliament to stay in his post after an election setback last month that saw his coalition lose its majority in the lower house. Ishiba took over as Prime Minister from Fumio Kishida, who stepped down in September amid a series of public scandals that rattled trust in the Liberal Democratic Party. In an extraordinary parliamentary session on Monday, Ishiba defeated Yoshihiko Noda, the leader of the main opposition party. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer is discussing European security and the likely impact of a second Trump presidency as he holds talks with the French President Emmanuel Macron in Paris. Ahead of attending a ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, Mr. Macron and Mr. Starmer have been discussing Russia's ongoing invasion and the humanitarian situation in Gaza. Their meeting comes as questions are being asked about US President-elect Donald Trump's support for Ukraine after he said he could end the war with Russia in 1 day. Trade is also on the agenda, with Trump saying he will impose a blanket 20% tariff on imports into the US. And thousands of beer-drinking German revelers have kicked off a carnival season in the stronghold of Cologne. Thousands of revellers dressed in colourful carnival costumes celebrated the start of the carnival, which ends on Ash Wednesday. The highlight is today, known as Rose Monday, 2 days before Ash Wednesday, when the town's nominated prince, peasant and maiden lead a famous parade. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel's studios in Lagos.
Thanks, Simon, and welcome to Sports News. Plateau United has been charged by the Nigeria Premier Football League for breaching the league rules in Sunday's Match Day 11 clash against defending champions Rangers International in Jos. The hosts failed to provide adequate and effective security, resulting in the attacks of the match officials and the visiting team. The team will lose 3 points and 3 goals from their accrued points and goals for assaulting a match official, while they have also been fined the sum of 4,750,000 naira for various offences in that game. And Ruud van Nistelrooy has left Manchester United after not being given a role in new manager Ruben Amorim's backroom staff. However, the new man in charge, Amorim, says is under no illusions about the difficulty of the task he faces, but he's looking forward to the challenge as it begins on November the 24th at Ipswich Town. And that's sports. I'm Kelly. It's back to Anne.
Thank you, Kelly. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu today called for the actualization of the two-state solution to the lingering crisis between Israel and Palestine. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Mwawadu. Good night.